and 7. Bryant leads, falling away, puts it in!
Ignore that. Let me just start off by saying that this game is a definite purchase for me. I would still not recommend a pre-order, as our boy Mudahar said.
Do not pre-order video games.
Just never pre-order, especially from big companies. Small ones, the indie developers, go ahead. But from these ones, hold your money until you actually see some product. Now, we did see a product, we did see the gameplay trailer. I watched it, and also let me start off by saying as well, it looks good. I'm not even talking about the graphics, it's pre-alpha, but everything seemed in order. And the common theme that I saw everyone talk about was that the fact that it looked like a Battlefield 4 with a few more, like, you know, some bells and whistles, some more specific. Can you shut the fuck up? I'm doing a video. Just a more refined Battlefield 4. But it also included a lot of things from Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2, if you believe it. When it came to the text, the positioning, the feel of the game looks like something that we wanted a long time. We didn't want the bullshit that it was Battlefield 5, where his DICE going like, we have some fancy new technology, and have you seen the attrition system? Fuck no. We didn't want that, and it was a great example of DICE thinking they think better than the players, and they know what the players want. Well, the players didn't want jack shit, anything to do with Battlefield 5. So they brought this, and they listened to the players, and you see the jet thing, you see the ATV with the C4 going to the helicopter. They remember the players now. And that is good. I think there's a mixture of everything, and we cannot forget that this is a new game. I do not expect a Battlefield 4, because guess what? We already had Battlefield 4. It still operates very well. You can still... The servers run very well, and there's still a very huge player count active still today on Battlefield 4. So in my personal opinion, if you want to play a Battlefield 4, just play the game that already exists, and I would expect a new title to look like a new title. And I think the problem that I would identify with this game is the lack of identity. Also, the gameplay itself looked a little bit stiff, but again, pre-alpha, I'm not going to judge any of that. However, remember Battlefield 3. You know, remember where the blue filter, I'm not going to be focusing on the visual thing, but remember the blue filter. It was something that everyone knows, oh, I remember that from Battlefield 3. But you should also remember that campaign did a very beautiful synergy between maps, and every map in multiplayer, there was almost no map that you could hate, honestly. You had obviously least favorites, but even if you were fighting in France or fighting in a Middle Eastern area like Afghanistan, looking like maps and stuff like that. I'm sorry, not Afghanistan, Iraq, and everything fitted so well. In Battlefield 3, I don't know about you, but when I watched that trailer, Battlefield 3 was not even a game that was supposed to be my primary game. I was always a Call of Duty fan, but it was the first game that took me by storm, even though I did play, you know, Bad Company 2. But that game really did create a huge hype. There was things that I'd never seen in any other Battlefield or any other game before, and I was just really excited. But I did a live stream, and you can honestly see that my reaction wasn't that overwhelming. In fact, at shock value, let's imagine it, at that moment, I was shocked, kind of disappointed. I guess that's what I perceived. Even though it is not a bad game, again, it's something that I'm going to purchase, but it doesn't feel like a new game. And I think that's where the biggest problem that we have with this game, and it can be due to the result of not having a campaign, obviously, because in Battlefield 3, the campaign, again, created a really good synergy with the multiplayer to give this feeling that this war makes sense. With a lack of campaign, and I know they will still explain it with cinematics and stuff like that in the multiplayer perspective, but it's still, I don't feel like it's a new game, like an advancement of Battlefield, right? Battlefield 3 was an advancement, right? You can compare another series like GTA, right? GTA 5, even though I like GTA 4 a lot when it comes to the story, for example, GTA 5 was definitely an evolution. This one is an evolution because the previous one was Battlefield 5. So yeah, an evolution from that is not that, like, it's not really impressive. But I want you to always keep in mind that I'm not complaining about them going back, because they really needed to do that. And this is a Battlefield, right? It is returning to the roots. I just think that there's a balance in everything, and they did it a little bit too much, and it seems like I guess a copy, and they use the same assets from Battlefield 4, even Level Cap himself saying this.
The footage honestly looks a lot like Battlefield 4, but with some new bells and whistles.
You know, which it didn't say it in a negative way, and I guess it is not negative, but from my perspective, people, there's an opinion. Have you noticed that this video isn't about an opinion? relax. Honestly, again, personally, you might feel the same way as I do. That's why I'm making this video, not really to appease my ego, but I honestly feel like it's a little bit too focused on the things that is before, because every time that every single frame I could be like, oh, you know, this has a little bit of energy by Bad Company 2, which is cool. Oh, Battlefield 3, it's kind of like looks like things that you could do in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, which, because all these games had unique stuff, even if you didn't enjoy, like if you liked really Battlefield 3 but you didn't like Battlefield 4 that much, it was still, there was things there, the elevators, stuff like that, that you knew and you can completely relate instantly to one of the games in the franchise, right? This one seems a mashup of everything, which I don't know how to feel, honestly. I guess it's good because they're coming back, but I just feel like they're doing a little bit too much. I know there's a little bit of story, the no path and stuff like that, and, you know, but the game just doesn't have an energy. It doesn't give me this feeling that in the future I'll be like, oh, this looks like 2042. I guess the tornado thing is kind of a new thing that is pretty cool, and we never seen it before. I mean, usually they would put a tornado, but you die instantly, right? Here you're gonna be able to, I don't know, 360 a motherfucker, no scope on a tornado, right? Which I guess can be pretty funny, but it doesn't feel like a new title to me. Is this concerning? Should you not buy the game because of that? Honestly, I don't think so. I think you should not pre-order, but you should consider the purchase on the day that it releases. And I maybe, as always, watch 1-2 review when the game comes out, because there will be people who play the beta and stuff like that, and make your decision, even though it is a beta. But I don't know, I just wanted to make this slight point. To everything that comes out, even if I really enjoyed it, I always keep a foot back, you know, how do you say that in English, man? You stay cautious, like you have some caution, understanding that, you know, like Cyberpunk, there's always a slight percentage that the thing will be extremely disappointing, even though everyone will go like, oh, it's a like I'm already, take my money, it's already immediate, 10 out of 10, even though they didn't play the game. It's not a 10 out of 10, it's not an 8 out of 10, it's not a 2 out of 10. We still haven't played the game. Now, if these trailers, you know, did the same impression on you as they did to me, which is I want to buy this game, then go ahead, and I don't think you should be shamed for that. People use the things that we have, right? And don't start asking for new things that are basically the same thing. We cannot be like, oh, EA, what the fuck? The FIFA looks all the same every year, but then when a game looks the same as the other games before, all of a sudden, just because the previous one was really crap, and this one, by comparison, is not so bad, I don't think we should go down that route. Goddamn. And we should be asking for just a tiny little bit more. I just don't feel like there's an identity in this game. There's nothing special about it. Just wanted to put this rant out of the way. Was this a rant? Again, I like the game. I wanted to buy the game, but I just, you know, always understand pre-orders a bad thing, especially considering AAA companies, right? Stop. So before this shit blows up, let me just say subscribe. I think it's a really good life decision right there, and like the video. I'll see you next time.